Welcome back to the Daily Morning Sports Feed on Reds Army, with me as editor Olivia. Today, let's take a look at some notable MLB news in the past 24 hours. Thank you for always supporting and accompanying us. Come to the following hot news. Padres star Tatis suspended 80 games for positive drug test. Trade still fresh, Soto embraces homecoming. Homer number 46 puts Judge in elite company. Padres star Tatis suspended 80 games for positive drug test. San Diego Padres dynamo Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the brightest, freshest stars in all of Major League Baseball, was suspended 80 games on Friday after testing positive for a performance-enhancing substance. MLB said Tatis tested positive for clostebol, an anabolic steroid. Tatis said he accidentally took a medication to treat ringworm that contained the banned substance. The penalty imposed by MLB was effective immediately, meaning the shortstop, who had been out the entire season because of a broken wrist but was expected to return to the playoff contenders next week, cannot play in the majors this year. Tatis will miss the remaining 48 regular season games this year and the first 32 next year. Any postseason games the Padres play this year would count toward the 80 that Tatis must sit out. The 23-year-old Tatis, who signed a $340 million, 14-year contract before the 2021 season, became one of the most prominent players ever penalized for performance-enhancing drugs, along with Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez. MLB said the suspension also will knock Tatis of playing for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, everybody's very disappointed. Somebody that from the organization's standpoint we invested time and money into, Padres general manager A.J. Preller said at Nationals Park, where San Diego played Washington. Flashy at the plate and in the field, Tatis was an all-star last season when he led the National League with 42 home runs. He was set to soon rejoin the Padres to boost a lineup that recently added star outfielder Juan Soto. In a statement released by the Players Union, Tatis said he was completely devastated, and apologized to Padres management, his teammates, MLB and fans everywhere for my mistake. It turns out that I inadvertently took a medication to treat ringworm that contained clostebol, he said. I should have used the resources available to me in order to ensure that no banned substances were in what I took. I failed to do so. I have no excuse for my error, and I would never do anything to cheat or disrespect this game I love, he said. Freddie Galvis and D. Strange Gordon are among the major leaguers previously suspended for using clostebol, which can be used for ophthalmological and dermatological use. It is also banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency, and Olympic gold medal-winning cross-country skier Tatis Jr. was suspended in 2016 after testing positive for it. Tatis was 7th player suspended this year under the Major League Drug Program. 33 have been suspended under the Minor League Drug Program. Players who test positive for PEDs are ineligible for the postseason that year. Preller said he found out about the suspension late Friday afternoon. He said he hadn't spoken yet to Tatis, but had seen his player's statement. I think we're hoping that from the offseason to now there would be some maturity. Obviously with the news today it's more of a pattern and something we've got to dig a little more into, Preller said. I'm sure he's very disappointed. At the end of the day, it's one thing to say. You've got to start showing it with your actions, he said. Preller added, I think what we need to get to is a point in time we trust him. Over the course of the last 6 or 7 months, that's been something that we haven't been really able to have there. I think from our standpoint, obviously he's a great talent, he's a guy we have a lot of history with and do believe in, but these things only work when there's trust both ways. On August 6, Tatis began a minor rehabilitation assignment with Double-A San Antonio. He was 2 for 9 with a double and a triple in 4 games. The Padres traded for Soto earlier this month in hopes of making a run deep into October. They had hoped a roster that included Soto, Tatis and fellow slugger Manny Machado could give them a better chance at the first World Series championship in team history. Now, they'll have to make that try without one of those key pieces. Tatis won't be able to play for the Dominican Republic in the WBC next March. Dominican fans had been salivating at the prospect of a bruising lineup that included Tatis, Soto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Rafael Devers and Jose Ramirez. The penalty will cost Tatis about $2.9 million. Tatis will forfeit $1,510,989 of his $5 million salary this year, covering the final 55 days and 48 games of the season. He will lose approximately $1.39 million of his $7 million salary for the first 32 games of next season, with the exact number to be determined by how many days he misses. There is nowhere else in the world I would rather be than on the field competing with my teammates, Tatis said. After initially appealing the suspension, I have realized that my mistake was the cause of this result, and for that reason I have decided to start serving my suspension immediately. I look forward to rejoining my teammates on the field in 2023. I have taken countless drug tests throughout my professional career, including on March 29, 2022, all of which have returned negative results until this test, he said. The penalty was announced shortly before the Padres played Washington. San Diego began the day at 63-51 and holding the final of the 3 NL wildcard spots. Preller said the team had about 15 minutes to talk about Tatis' suspension before taking the field. We haven't had Tatis for this season, so it's not like we've had him in the lineup and now we won't, Preller said. I think to a man all the guys in that clubhouse believe we can win. They know we can win. Never been about one player. Trade still fresh, Soto embraces homecoming. When Juan Soto first heard he'd been traded to San Diego, the slugger said he cried all morning. Then he peeked at his new schedule. Just 10 days on the horizon, after what will now always be known as the Juan Soto trade deadline passed, the Padres were set to visit the nation's capital. It was this scheduling quirk that allowed Soto to cap the emotional farewells he'd soon have with his teammates with a twist of silver-lined wisdom. I told the guys, it's not goodbye, Soto said. It's see you later. So it was Friday, when Soto returned to Nationals Park as a visitor for the first time. 10 days after the blockbuster deal that sent the two-time All-Star to San Diego, Soto strode toward the home clubhouse inside Nationals Park, and smiling, he dabbed up its staffers. Then he made a left turn and kept walking. A few unfamiliar turns later, Soto hopped up the third base dugout stairs, surprised at the size of the media scrum awaiting him. He shouted a greeting in Spanish to a friend on the field. Then the 23-year-old climbed atop the dugout bench, sat, and took in the first stadium he ever called home from an entirely new vantage point. It looks way different, he said, sporting a pink Padres t-shirt and a backwards brown cap. It's a little longer of a walk. With that as a backdrop, Soto spent much of Friday reflecting on a lot of emotions and feelings that I have in this stadium, a lot of memories. He made a career's worth in parts of only 5 seasons in D.C., from his first pitch home run in his MLB debut, to his game-breaking double in the 2019 wild card game to his recent home run derby win. Along the way, Soto compiled a World Series ring, a batting title and eye-popping numbers, emerging as a generational hitter with few historical comps and by this year's deadline, a trade candidate unlike any the sport had ever seen. Thus the grip with which Soto's whereabouts dominated baseball ever since July 16, when news broke that the star had turned down a 15-year, $440 million extension from the Nationals. Weeks of rumors and speculation culminated early August 2, when the Padres won the deadline sweepstakes by landing Soto and Josh Bell for a historic 6-player haul. The monumental, landscape-shifting deal inserted Soto and Bell into the same lineup with All-Stars Manny Machado and Jake Cronenworth, signaling San Diego as all in as it eyes a deep October run. Friday marked a return, too, for Bell, who had been a National since 2021. It meant a lot for me and my family to be embraced by this community, Bell said. I can look back at my time here and be at peace about it. Said Soto, it feels good to be back and see these guys and enjoy the moment. I had some great moments here, but now we've got to just keep going. Soto spoke wistfully about his time with the Nationals, who signed him as a teenager out of the Dominican Republic before he debuted to immediate success in 2018, at age 19. He also praised the welcome he's received from the Padres, lauding the energy in his new clubhouse and saying it already feels like home. What Soto did not express was resentment toward Washington's front office for the trade. It was tough, but at the end of the day I understand it's a business, Soto said. They did the best thing for them and I'm happy, no hard feelings. As for this weekend's 3-game series between the clubs, Soto admitted it might be a good chance to say goodbye to the Washington fans, recalling similar situations when Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer returned to D.C. as opposing players for the first time. I gave them 100% when I was here, and I hope they enjoyed it, he said. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big I am, how many people know me. I'm going to be the same guy. Homer number 46 puts Judge in elite company. Aaron Judge cleared the Green Monster with his Major League-leading 46th home run of the season on Friday, collecting his 100th RBI of the campaign in style. Judge's third-inning blastoff Red Sox starter Nathan Eovaldi came off the bat at 113.8 miles per hour and traveled 429 feet, according to StatCast, giving the Yankees a 2-0 lead at the time. Coming in Judge's 109th game of the season, the home run established Judge as the fastest player to reach 100 RBIs since the Tigers' Miguel Cabrera did it in 103 games in 2013, a season in which Cabrera won the American League's MVP award. The last Yankee to reach 100 RBIs in fewer than 109 games was Alex Rodriguez, doing so in his 2007 AL MVP season. Padres star Tatis suspended 80 games for positive drug test. Trades still fresh, Soto embraces homecoming. Homer number 46 puts Judge in elite company.